So I mean, you make me laugh and you make him dizzy.
Right, for most new parents, dealing with lack of sleep is the biggest challenge they face. Getting only a couple of hours sleep at a time, night after night, is a mental and physical challenge close to torture.
Some experts have pushed the tough love method, which is leaving the child to cry so they learn to sleep for longer periods. But that's not the only way to deal with it. Joining me now are Tracey Martin and Megan Campbell. Good morning to both of you. Nice to see you. Tracey, tell us about your methods.
Well, I don't believe in cry it out or time-responded soothing or any other names that it called. So we look at sensitively and consistently responding to the communication of the baby.
So every time the child cries, you go and comfort them?
You respond. They communicate a need. It's different between fussing and grizzling to crying or screaming, the other alternative. So when they're communicating that need, which is the only way they know how, we need to respond.
It means that they are one of a couple of things, I imagine?
Absolutely.
Hungry.
Hot, cold, hungry, just need a cuddle, reassurance.
So that whole, because everybody knows the thing of just leave the baby to cry
10 minutes
or else it's going to get into, because the baby will get into the habit of knowing that as soon as it cries you're going to come rushing in and do something. Is that wrong?
I know, and that's the fallacy, and that's the unfortunate fallacy, and it puts a lot of pressure on parents because their natural instinct is to want to pick up a baby. They're actually biologically designed to pick up a baby. So when they are being asked to stay out of the room or only go in at certain time periods.
Very hard.
You just sit out in the lounge and block your ears and worry about your little...
Totally. Yeah. And it's not doing the baby any good either because they need the response because they don't have the mechanism to regulate and also regulate their emotions. So they need somebody else to help calm them down.
Megan, you have used this method with your children. Tell us how it worked for you.
Well, fantastically. I mean, we, particularly with Finlay, he's now 4.5, but he was about 2.5 when I first went to Tracey.
Were you sort of strung out and at your wits' end about trying to get him to sleep?
That's probably fairly fair, yeah.
Which would be quite a fair call for a lot of parents.
Well, put it this way, in our situation, Finlay was waking between 10 and 30 times a night.
Oh, my goodness.
And so I sort of had got to the stage where I could operate without sleep, which is kind of scary, really. But really, you're operating at a nothing level.
So what did he want between 10 and 30 times a night, and how did you minimise those wake times?
Largely he wanted us. I mean, I think part of the problem for us is we thought it was all just about sleep, when really one of the things that Tracey and Dream Parenting methods do is unpackage it all so that you can sort of say, well, actually, there's a few different issues going on here. It's not just about your child sleeps or doesn't sleep. In Finn's case, he'd been quite sick with ear infections. He all of a sudden developed a fear for the rain, like driving rain and storms. His dad had been away extended periods of time. And we had to sort of unpackage it and deal with each issue. And so, so we did. And I suppose, up to meeting Tracey, I tried everything. I mean, we did cry it out, full cried out, with earplugs. Which is, I feel bad about now because...
No, I mean, it's
it was what you were being told at the time.
Yeah, it's a common thing. So, Tracey, just explain a little more for me because I'm still not entirely clear on what your methodology is then. If I have a baby like that thing and it's crying and it's waking up repeatedly, should I go and pick the baby up? Is as simple as that? Or am I trying to work out what's wrong?
No, well, first you need to work out what's going, but the first thing is to go to the baby and let them know that you're there so that they build up that secure environment. And then assess, do they need a change of nappy? Do they need a feed? Do they need a cuddle? But there is always something going on.
And the more time you spend with your baby, the more you're going to know what they're
And how does this help with irregular sleep if it means you have to keep getting up and going over to the baby?
Well, the fallacy is that every time you respond, they're going to keep crying. But it's actually the reverse.
Right.
The more you respond, the less they cry over a period of time. So what you're doing is you're helping the brain as such, because we've got very immature brains when we're born. So it needs to be wired in a very secure and empathetic way so they can go into the world. So when you respond, you're helping them learn how to be empathetic. And then they self-regulate and they become calmer as they get older.
And Tracey's methods, to be fair, aren't just about being soft as and just going all the time. I mean, it's a gentler approach with boundaries. I think that's really important to know that there is structure, but it's not dead routine. It's not all about you must do this. Like some methods, there's controlled crying, which Plunkett sort of advocate. and that's all about going by a clock, isn't it?
Yeah, I think it's important to trust your intuition.
We have to go, guys, but Tracey, just finally, what's your website address where people can...
It's dreamparenting.com.
Okay.